Observe the high-velocity chaos of a Bangkok street at rush hour. Somewhere in this traffic is a food delivery driver, navigating severe physical and economic pressure to complete a single job. The true baseline of the gig economy is visible at these staging areas. The volume of matching thermal bags and uniform jackets reveals a massive, standardized workforce operating in near-constant motion. Researchers studying these platforms found that drivers frequently run 12-hour shifts while earning less than 800 baht, resulting in chronic physical and psychological strain. This research identifies the specific condition of layered exhaustion. This occurs when deep physical fatigue is compounded by the relentless algorithmic pressure of the delivery application. This creates a challenge for data collection. Researchers must find a way to measure a subjective experience that is distributed across thousands of moving vehicles. Traditional ethnography relies on synchronous observation, a researcher physically shadowing a subject. But sitting on the back of a motorcycle for 12 hours to observe a gig worker is neither safe nor practical. Environmental variables further complicate the process. Deep water and severe monsoon rains disrupt the physical environment, making on-the-ground tracking nearly impossible for an outside observer. Retrospective interviews are also limited. When a driver is interviewed hours after their shift, the intensity of their experience has faded, introducing severe recall bias into the data. Because static, traditional observation methods cannot follow the subject, these fluid, hypermobile human experiences remain effectively invisible to the researcher. Mobile ethnography provides a methodological solution to this visibility gap. This method requires moving the authority of observation away from the academic and toward the participant. This operates on the principle of the participant as ethnographer. By interacting with her smartphone, the subject generates the primary data, shifting the locus of observation to the user's own perspective. Data capture moves from a synchronous, researcher-led event to an asynchronous, participant-led process. Participants rely on in-the-moment documentation. By recording text, audio, or video as an event occurs, they provide a record that is free from recall bias. The primary academic benefit is contextual authenticity. Data is gathered in its natural state, providing a more accurate reflection of reality than a controlled laboratory setting. To understand how researchers validate this data, we can reverse engineer the Bangkok study to see the 7-step architecture required for this methodology. The smartphone functions as the methodological bridge, connecting the requirements of the academic lab directly to the lived experience of the subject. The architecture begins with Step 1, formulating research questions. These must target the specific lived experience of the participant rather than broad abstractions. This focus leads to Step 3, recruitment. Researchers use purposeful or snowball sampling to find users who meet exact criteria, such as drivers with at least 6 months of experience on a single platform. The ideal sample size is generally 8 to 20 users, tracked over 1 to 4 weeks to reach data saturation without fatiguing the subjects. Step 2 is the technological toolset. A split-screen interface deploys everyday apps alongside spatial triggers. They utilize geofencing. When a phone crosses that boundary, the system triggers a mission prompt. If a driver enters a high-stress hub, they document it by uploading a photo. Here, the researcher acts as a catalyst, using prompts to stimulate data generation rather than passively watching the subject. Constant digital tracking triggers Step 6, research ethics. This requires strict compliance with privacy frameworks such as Thailand's Personal Data Protection Act. Researchers must prioritize data anonymization. When tracking vulnerable populations, shielding their identity from platform algorithms is a critical safeguard. Psychological risks also require management. Asking an exhausted participant to document their stress can increase their fatigue, requiring built-in support protocols. Rigorous data capture requires this engineered balance between automated technical triggers and strict ethical boundaries. Once collection is complete, the project moves into Step 4, data analysis. This conceptual software interface highlights the primary challenge, managing a massive influx of photos, videos, and audio. Researchers apply grounded theory, methodically sorting fragmented files into structured categories. The first pass is inductive coding, generating academic codes directly from raw participant data. For example, an audio clip of a driver panting in the heat leads the researcher to create the physical exhaustion code. The second pass is deductive coding. Here, researchers apply existing sociological theories to the incoming data. If a driver complains about app routing forcing them into traffic, researchers connect that evidence to established literature. By merging them, these analytical streams form a comprehensive understanding, such as the unified concept of layered exhaustion. Through coding, researchers translate raw context, timing, and emotion into structured sociological theory. This process faces an immediate academic critique. How do we know that self-reported, unsupervised digital data is valid? Validation occurs in Step 5, the rigor framework. Researchers use this 4-quadrant matrix, based on Lincoln and Guba's criteria, to verify trustworthiness. The first quadrant is credibility. Researchers used member checking, returning preliminary findings to drivers to verify the analysis. They also used data triangulation, cross-referencing GPS logs with audio diaries and photographs to ensure the different data points align. The second quadrant is transferability. Researchers provide a thick description of the environment, allowing others to determine if findings apply elsewhere. The third is dependability, requiring a meticulous audit trail. Finally, confirmability is established through researcher reflexivity, documenting biases. Peer debriefing is also used, allowing outside researchers to scrutinize the logic and confirm that the data supports the conclusions. When this framework is applied, asynchronous digital data transforms from a collection of anecdotes into rigorous academic evidence. This process culminates in Step 7, reporting findings. As this generated document shows, the final report integrates dense theoretical text with anonymized multimedia. Combining thick description with actual audio and video from the field creates a visceral report that reflects the driver's daily reality. This output has real-world application, allowing policymakers to look inside algorithmic systems and understand their human consequences. In the Bangkok study, these insights help develop health support systems and policy protections for gig workers. However, researchers adopting this method must consider a final operational requirement. It is essential to conduct a small pilot test before beginning full deployment. A pilot allows for the calibration of automation prompts and geofences. If these technical triggers fail in the field, the data is lost permanently. Mobile ethnography is a necessary evolution of qualitative research, engineered to map the decentralized realities of the modern world.